The Meta Quest 2 is the obvious choice if you're looking for a VR in 2024, especially with this new update, which has just leveled up the experience with the VR headset. Have you ever wondered if the Meta Quest 2 could be used outside? I mean, after all, it would be a game changer, not having to worry about running into walls or tripping over the mess that you've left behind. And with each fact, I will tell you more and more about the experience of using the Meta Quest 2 outside. Have you ever been in that situation where you're watching a movie, and whether that's big screen or Netflix, and you want to lie down to make yourself comfortable, only to find out that you're looking at the back of someone's head or the back of the chair? This can be stressful as you want to feel truly comfortable, and before the update you would have to either deal with it or use your phone. However, with this new update, support has now been added, allowing you to use the VR while lying down. Enabling this is as simple as pressing a button. But first things first, get comfortable, whether that's on your side, your back, or your belly. Then press and hold the Meta button on the remote. It may be buggy at first, but if you re-hold the button, it should fix itself, and voila! You are able to use the VR while lying down. Another perk to make the experience even better is if you're lying down on your side, preferably on your bed, and you make use of the USB-C port to keep the Quest 2 charged as you watch your movie. This way, you won't have to worry about the battery dying on you. Okay, so now that we're outside, I will need to draw myself a boundary. So that's going to take a couple seconds, so give me a minute while I do that. The Apple Vision Pro is expensive, and unless you want to sell your kidney, there is a way that you can achieve similar functions within the settings. Hidden in the settings is the function that allows you to operate the Meta Quest 2 with just your hands. While on the outside, you may look like a psychopath, but for you, the experience will feel seamless, especially if you're, let's say, watching a movie and Netflix asks if you're still alive. The controls are simple. Pinch to grab and hold, poke to select the function you need. I use this much more than I thought I would, as it just feels much more easier. And you also get the benefit of still using the VR while waiting for a new set of batteries to arrive if, let's say, your controller dies. With that setup, we'll now need to test two things. First is the hand tracking, and then secondly is the tracking of the controllers itself, as the controllers use infrared to track where the controllers are, so I don't know if that will or will not work in daylight. It's pretty cloudy, so I shouldn't expect any less, so this will take me a while to do, so bear with me while I do the testing. Getting the right fit is essential. If not, well, subscribe. Some of you may know there are 3 ways to adjust your VR. First one, you have the strap that tightens how close the VR sits on your face, but if it's too tight, you will steam up. The second one adjusts is how high the Quest 2 sits on your face, but too loose, it will sag and your vision will be warped and rubbish. And the last one is self-explanatory. But what if I told you there was a fourth one? If the other methods don't work and you still can't see, then you, my friend, need Specsavers. If you wear glasses and need them to see, some may think it's okay to put the VR over them. And that's not a good idea, as this could scratch the VR lens, rendering it useless and permanently out of focus. But all hope is not lost if you do that. There's actually a solution that could reverse your mistake for less than $5. I'm talking about Polywatch. All you need to do is place a tiny blob on the lens and buff in a circular motion until all the scratches has been filled in. And no, this will not work if you have a massive gouge on your lens, but rather for light scratches, as it's a good way to remove light scratches, especially if the scratches are caused by your glasses. I will leave a link below the like button. Tracking of the hands worked perfectly. I don't know if it was because it's cloudy and there's not too much harsh sunlight for the cameras to expose, but tracking works perfectly. You see it on your screen right now, but like even placing something in the middle of the grass and walking around it, it managed to stay in the place where I set it down and did not deviate at all. And it kind of worked as if you was inside as well, but even better because now you have the limitless space of your back garden without having to worry about running into walls or anything else. So what I'm going to do now is I've got the controllers, and I don't know if this will actually be harder for the controllers because they use infrared. So I'm going to test that, and give me a moment and that shouldn't take long. Have you ever felt a sense of being watched when using the VR? Or do you like to have quick accessibility to see your surroundings with a simple tap? Well, here you can do this. This can be found in settings, and when enabled, you can see your surroundings with a simple double tap. However, for some, this may cause a bug, which would render one eye black when using Passthrough. And the only way to fix this is by restarting the VR headset. But I like to hope that this has been fixed along with the new update. When it works really well, especially if you want to see your surroundings to get a drink or do a task without having to remove the headset, allowing you to quickly return to whatever you was doing. You can play the VR outside. Everything worked perfectly fine, from hand tracking to boundary tracking to playing a full-on fledged game in VR outside in my back garden. I will be using this much more often, especially on cloudy days, to play high-intensity games with more space and the less likelihood of walking into a wall, which I'm buzzing. If you're watching this video, then you're telling me you're interested in the Meta Quest 2. And that video will be there, and I actually have a surprise for you. So if you're interested in winning this gift card, subscribe, follow me on my Instagram and my Twitter, and I will DM you the code. I will announce the winner on Monday. Toodles. I'll see you tomorrow and the day after.